Welcome back to the CrossFit Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy, alongside my co-hosts, Alan and Chris. We have Noah Daquan today. He is working on a project that he wants to get done. I understand that. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he's got his work to deal with, so it's no big deal.
Yeah. Today's topic is the Switch 2. They just had a Nintendo Direct this past, what was it, Wednesday? No, Tuesday.
It was past
Wednesday.
It was past Wednesday for us, but depending on when the episode goes up, it was last week.
Yeah. So that's the topic for today, and let me tell you, I'm mad, dude.
People have opinions.
People have.
I mean, I have opinions.
Yeah. Where do you want to start with this thing, dude?
Well,
let's start with the price first, or
we can start with the release date.
The release date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start neutral and then go from there.
It was coming out in June, which is what I predicted. I figured it was going to be coming out in summer, which is I think what most people were thinking, especially with the way they were dripping out news. Yeah. Unfortunately, because of what's going on in America, and not to get political or anything, but it's been delayed, and we don't know how much or how far.
The pre-orders has been delayed.
Right, but I think also there may be other issues, but I don't know yet. I know pre-orders were delayed.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to get into that bullshit.
Yeah. The reason I also bring it up is because obviously those tariffs are gonna affect how much it costs because it's imported.
Yeah.
It's already $450
base. Yeah.
Which is insane.
Insane.
Base price might be.
You're asking me to basically pay for a PS5, which is already super expensive.
Yeah, let me do the math real quick. So we can. I think it's like 510, right?
Those numbers. Those number crunch.
Yeah. Let me real quick, just so we know.
How do you feel about $550 for a console?
$450
at base price.
At base price, it's insane, dude. The original Switch was $300 when it came out.
So the $450 with the tariffs, not including taxes, is going to be $540.
Yes, almost. You're paying more for a Switch. Now, granted, it's not entirely. It's still a way overpriced console because they put it at $450 base. But you're paying for more for a Switch than you would a PS5 or an Xbox Series X.
Yeah, but
that's without tariffs, right?
Yeah. No, the 540 is with the tariffs minus the taxes.
Yeah, that's with it. That's what makes it more expensive than PS5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, there's Nintendo games that I do love, and that's the reason I've always bought Nintendo systems, even if I am disappointed by some of them.
Pokemon
and Zelda.
I don't have my backup right now, so I'm just gonna
you don't have my backup. But I can't justify $560, probably closer to $600 after taxes.
Yeah.
For a Nintendo Switch 2.
No, I can't either. I'm sorry.
I'd rather just upgrade my Switch to an OLED and then just continue to I think at the end of the month we get the Legion 2, which is the little handheld system for PC stuff, and just buy that.
Yeah. Even looking at the games they announced for the Switch 2, with if the terrorist wasn't the thing, I'm still what am I buying this for?
Again, there's some games that I thought were really cool and I was kind of excited for, but again, it's more I still want to see more for them before I decide if I want to buy them or not. So as of this moment, there's no reason for me to ever drop that much money on a system like that.
There is not. I want to know if now this is just a pipe dream for me,
right?
Because I love Star Fox. If the rumors for a new Star Fox is true, and then it has to be good, then I will consider buying it.
And even then, I still.
For me, the big sticking point is Nintendo is famous for making limited edition consoles. You had the Animal Crossing one, you had all the Pokemon ones that came out, the Zelda one. If I'm gonna get it, that's a big if. It's gonna be one of those editions.
No, and then what's crazy is they upcharge those editions too, so it's gonna be even more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be closer to, and like I said, after taxes, assuming we don't actually know. roughly speaking, after taxes, those special editions will probably be closer to like 650, 675 after tax.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
insane, dude.
absurd.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
that's like a trip to the grocery store. That's crazy.
I know.
Damn, Chris, you spending $600 at the grocery store?
I mean,
I am, man.
Which grocery store you going to, dude?
Nah.
Kroger?
No, you know what? That's the American dream for those people that aren't allowed into Sam's Club or Costco or Winco, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
The non-wholesale shoppers, that's what they're spending.
Yeah. Nah.
It's
Well,
like I said, it's still crazy, dude. Because even
it's
like
a hard sell.
it's a super hard sell. Because then you look at like other countries, and it's like, oh, maybe it's like a little bit different. No, it's just as expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in Japan, where the yen is like, you know, cheaper than the dollar, like you're spending almost 50,000 yen there too. Which again, if you get like a Japanese console that's in Japanese, you'd save money. But the likelihood of you getting one of those is also slim.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, if you wait a year, okay, so that me and Kaylee can go to Japan, you know, just give us your money and we'll get you one for cheap.
We'll get you one. There you go.
All right, man.
I don't know, man. Because like the thing is, my issue is right. Because like, and this is my issue with Nintendo. And I mean, I think it's most people's issue with Nintendo. It's gonna be $450 for like 10 years. They're never gonna drop that console.
Out of touch, man.
No.
They never drop the price on any of their consoles. That's why the Switch is still the original Switch is still $300. That's why Breath of the Wild, that dog shit game, is still $60.
I think out of touch is a understatement for Nintendo.
No, like it's not. It's not out of touch. It's just greed, and they know they can get away with it.
Right.
Yes, we'll see. Do you guys? Okay, so obviously Japan is like their biggest market, right? Outside of that, would you say US or UK is a bigger market?
Oh, 100% US. Have you seen these animals out here?
US. So
US,
like,
for sure.
Do you think we'll see a significant dip in like their profit margins, at least here in the US?
No,
I don't think so.
I think so.
Okay. You might see like a dip, but not like
not enough.
Not enough to make a hurt.
Basically, it's going to be small enough that they can come up with any excuse to get away with it.
Listen,
I think there's enough Nintendo fanboys that like, you know, the people that like stan Nintendo, that they'll buy it.
Yeah.
I want to believe that that's not true, but every time something like this happens, I'm just proved wrong every time.
Yeah. Yep. Fair enough.
It is true. Well, besides all that bullshit and pricing, I do like the quality of life stuff that they did with the console.
I mean, there's some stuff that's like kind of cool, but then there's some stuff that's kind of weird.
So my question is, do you think that stuff justifies the $150 price increase?
No, of course not.
No, okay, I didn't think so. Okay.
No, and they also have like their version of Discord within Nintendo.
So I find it real cringe, right? That they made a 3-minute video about voice chat.
Yeah.
That's on the level of Fallout 76 making a whole ass trailer about NPCs being added to the game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Well, and then, like I said, the interface, the way it functions, everything about it is just Discord. And they found a way to then be like, oh, you can also use the camera to like video chat while you're playing.
How much is that camera?
It's like $80.
Let's see.
I think it was $80. I could be wrong.
The way they nickel and dime their fan base is just
wild. And just to throw that on top of it, you can't use voice chat without Nintendo Online. Now, granted, Nintendo Online is like dirt cheap anyways, but like for now, right? They could raise it. But they're charging you to use Nintendo Online to use the voice chat.
Okay, $50 for the camera.
Okay, 50. Okay,
$90 for a Joy-Con too, dude. $90 for a Joy-Con. Not even a PS5 controller is that expensive.
And they're fucking over here also nickel and diming us.
Yeah.
The Joy-Con 2 charging grip, $35.
Jesus Christ.
The strap by itself is $13.
Oh, let's talk about the fucking in-depth digital manual that you can play through. Oh, you got to pay for that too. To find out how
manual?
you know, that Nintendo Switch like experience to teach you what the Nintendo Switch can do and all that, they said it's digitally paid. You have to buy it.
Oh my god.
What the
So to find out how your console is new from the previous one and all the cool things you can do with it, you got to pay money.
Jesus.
Let's see. Joy-Con 2 wheel, $20 for two.
Right.
Nintendo dock set, $110. Carrying case and screen protector, $35. An all-in-one carrying case, $80. And an AC adapter, $30. Bro, what?
Yeah.
You people are gonna buy this.
Yeah.
They are.
Like I don't understand.
I want to believe that the people that randomly tune in aren't gonna buy it, but who knows?
And the Pro controller, $80.
Yeah, the Pro controller's always been fucking expensive as fuck, even for the old Nintendo Switch. I think it's still like $60-$70. And again, with all that money you're spending, like I said, those handhelds for PC, including the Steam Deck, are all cheaper or the same price. And you get more quality of life. Unlike the Steam Deck is specifically for Steam, but even that you get a lot lot cool things you can do with it. Then you add the ROG Ally, the Legion 2.
Kart and Mario Party. And when you gonna get? I want my Zelda.
My Zelda.
And don't forget about the new Donkey Kong.
Oh, and don't even get me started. It's fucking Sony's garbage all over again, dude. They're re-releasing Switch games and upcharging you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I already know these people are going to be the Nintendo Switch 2. You know, like, I want to play my Tears of the Kingdom on my Switch 2. Let me go spend $40.
You know?
I fucking hate it.
I can't wait till Elden Ring overheats this console.
Dude, it might. It might.
Oh my god.
And then again, like the games that were shown, again, I'm not like immediately like, it's not like what they used to be in the day, right? The console seller.
There's no console seller here. I'm sorry. For me, there's no console seller.
Like the closest one was the Duskbloods, because I legit thought it was Bloodborne 2. I thought it was Bloodborne 2, but then it's like they like explained it a little bit. According to my brother, they're like, it's like a PvP/PvE type of game, so it's not even like a Bloodborne type game either. It just looks and plays like it. So like, I'm already kind of not interested. I don't play those types of game to play people.
And what's his name again? Miyazaki.
Miyazaki.
He had to come out and tell people, guys, this isn't what we're going for. Like, we're not making these games all the time. Like, why does he have to go out and say that shit?
Because a bunch of people were probably putting expectations on him because, you know, Twitter exists, so he probably has to.
Like, why would they make this type of game all the time? Bro.
Right.
And then just real quick, I know like we're not exactly the most in-depth people on this subject, but like, dude, I can't imagine being a parent right now and like looking at that and being like, I know my kid's gonna ask for a fucking $500 console, $90 games, which you haven't even touched, by the way, right? $900 games, the online service, the $50 camera, the fucking $90 Joy-Cons, the $13 strap that I'm gonna have to buy because his ass is gonna break it on the first day. Like, dude, I felt bad asking my parents for money when I needed some for a game. Those games were like what, $50? I can't even imagine.
I was always really hesitant to even buy like a used game, like a $25 game. Like, imagine the balls on these kids to be like, Mom, like, buy me Mario Kart for the Switch 2. The $100 after tax.
It's $100.
That's the physical copy. That's the physical too.
Oh yeah, and then don't even get me started.
That makes me nervous for like other games coming out now.
I was like, don't even get me started on the physical copy. Isn't it supposed to be they upcharge you for the physical copy, but it's still just a code for a digital game?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the fucking upcharge? The box? We're paying for the box now and the paper on the outside.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. They really want you to be like, we don't want you to physically own anything, and you're within our ecosystem and we choose what you can use.
Yeah.
It's just absurd because I was like genuinely excited for the Switch 2, and then this shit came out.
Yeah.
I wish I was genuinely excited for the Switch 2.
I mean, I'm not anymore, unfortunately. Now like I said, now I'm just gonna focus on getting like an ROG Ally. Like I said, the Legion 2 comes out at the end of the year, and just get it for myself for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, dude, it's like I'm looking at all the games that were announced. A lot of them are re-releases or games that even come out on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And then like obviously we have some games that are also being announced for the Switch too, which I'm gonna be real, knowing Nintendo, I don't even know how well the games are gonna run, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, even Street Fighter 6 and Star Wars Outlaws. Like, are y'all sure this shit will run it?
Yeah, we'll see.
To see. I saw. Do you see the trailer for Mario Kart World?
Yeah.
And all the features they put in there.
I mean, I remember watching it, but I don't remember what they were.
Just play Forza. That's an open world racing game.
Oh, you're right. It's like you fucking go around exploring with friends or whatever.
Go to the next one. Yeah.
Just Forza or Need for Speed, bro.
It's just Forza Horizon.
We have open world racing games.
Dude, if the fact that they're touting voice chat didn't tip you off on the fact that they're about 20 years behind, just look at this, man. They're out here talking about we have online chat now, guys. Yeah, dude, it's 2025.
A 7-minute trailer about game chat.
Yep. It is 2025.
Meanwhile, fucking Discord and Xbox have already integrated Discord into their systems and UI.
Yep.
Right. What else is here? That Donkey Kong? I don't care about Donkey Kong, dude. I don't.
I'm gonna be real. Like, I know some people really do care about Donkey Kong, and don't get me wrong. Like, as far as Donkey Kong games go, it looks good. But like, are you really gonna pay that much to play a Donkey Kong game?
Yeah.
And then there's that drag drive game that has the motion inputs for you to play a guy in a wheelchair to play basketball or rugby or whatever the fuck it was.
And then not only did they announce one racing game, but 2 racing games. That Kirby Air Raiders game.
Yeah.
They had 2 racing games.
Yep.
Not even the Kirby's Dream Land, just a Kirby's racing game.
Well, I'm a big fan of Kirby Air Ride, but I've never been like, yeah, I want another one.
Right. Who's asking for this?
I don't know.
I guess they showed some Metroid. No, that was it was before, right?
No, and they also showed off that it's going to be released for the Switch 2, I think. It's just Metroid Prime 4, though.
Yeah.
And it has, like, the mouse control option to play with the Joy-Cons, which I guess is nice because it's easier to aim, but at the same time, like, my dumbass isn't going to be sitting there with the Joy-Cons fucking, like, playing like a mouse type shit. Like, that's not what I play a Switch for. It's like the motion controls, not let me drag this shit across my lap or my couch. Like, what am I supposed to put that on a table? Like, are you gonna give me a table to fucking with a little desk mat to fucking play?
They're gonna charge you for that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So
this is fucking very specific Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con desk mat.
Don't give them my ideas, Gio. Stop.
Hey, no, maybe I get royalties. No, I won't. It's Nintendo.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
They'll just say that was their idea.
Retroactively sue you.
Yeah, they'll retroactively sue. It's like you somehow found out our leaked information we've been working on for the last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the Nintendo GameCube stuff, which is cool. Finally, putting GameCube stuff on there, but like,
why couldn't you do that with the Switch?
Yeah,
it's like you knew people wanted that, so you waited to sell your new console with it because otherwise it wouldn't be enough with the games y'all made so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this is just like a huge disconnect with their general audience, and what sucks the most is like no matter how many friends and like people we talk to or like online places that we look at and everyone has the same complaints as us, that is like the tiniest bit of fraction of the population that's gonna get it.
I think it's so funny because like I was actually watching the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct live, and I remember seeing live there was like 1.2 million people watching live, right? And even then is the smallest fraction, even just here in America, because most people that buy these consoles, especially the Nintendo ones, don't interact like online as a community or like with streams or with like Reddit, Twitter,
anything.
Like, so while we may seem like, oh my god, everyone hates the Nintendo Switch 2, no.
Nope.
It's probably the majority of the player base were like, oh, we finally have a release date for the Switch 2, so now I can get ready for it. Like that's
not
the
even
type
that.
of that. I mean, if that maybe.
It's also gonna be like people just going to the store one day and being like, hey, can you just get me the newest thing, whatever it is? I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
They'll
there's
just get
there's
whatever.
a good chunk of people that do that.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, my kid just broke his 5th iPad. Let me get him something that's a little sturdier.
Right.
Until they break the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna be like, yeah, we're not buying another one. And I like how, even though it was expected, because it's not that big of a jump generationally, they made a whole section about backwards compatibility, which is like, especially in today's market, it's kind of something that's expected.
Yeah.
But I guess it's nice that's there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about the whole virtual card thing that they were talking about, the selling, like you put like a certain amount of games on a virtual card to transfer to different systems. So you can like also transfer your digital games to other Switches, but it's like, unless you're trying to like, shouldn't you just have access to those digital games on your account? So you should be able to get them on the Switch too. I've never once went like, oh, I want to play my Switch games, so I'm going somewhere else other than my house. Let me just leave my Switch, but I'll take my virtual card. Like they have a Switch, so I don't need to take. No, just take your Switch. Like I don't understand. I don't understand what this service is for. Other than like letting people, other than letting someone borrow a game, like they have that function, which I think is pretty cool. That's a good function. I like that. But other than that, like, what is that for?
Yeah, no. As someone who's had to deal with transferring games from one Switch to another, like whenever I upgraded to the
OLED
Plus or whatever, the OLED one, it is a pain in the ass to do. It should not be as hard as it is. I should be able to just log into my account and like, hey, you have these games. You want to download it?
Right.
No, I have to get the cable, pass it over, and they both have to work at the same time. They both have to be fully charged, but somehow also have the cable in, and it's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And not just that, like why give me the option to have saved games on my micro SD and then I can't just take that micro SD to the next one?
Yeah.
What is?
Because they're also changing the micro SD. They're also changing like the micro SD. Like it's like a specific one that works now because it's like bigger or something. I remember them saying something about the SD they're using is different than the micro SD the Switch had. It's basically them saying you can't use it. You're fucked. Use our new one.
Oh, wait, did they really take it away? I didn't see that.
I think the SD, like I don't remember if they outright took it away, but I feel like they spent like a small little section talking about it. So I feel like in my head I remember thinking that's dumb. Why can't I use my old one? Yeah. But I could be wrong. Like I could just be remembering it. I don't have it up at the moment. My bad. I just woke up. But I remember them talking about the SD card itself. So I feel like there was something that they did with it other than making it bigger that I like. That's the reason it stuck out of my brain.
Gotcha.
I see here 256 gigabytes of internal storage that can be expanded with a micro SD Express card.
Oh, that's right. They're using micro SD Express. I think that's what it was versus like the normal micro SD before. Because I don't think it was Express before.
No, gotcha. Yeah, there's like a bunch of different ones.
And also, aren't we at the point where technology micro SD goes over a terabyte now?
Yes.
Why are we still at 256 and that's what you sell at like $150 or some shit?
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine Switch games aren't that big.
No.
But like, I
what if I
I understand what you mean though. Yeah.
Because like and I know it because a lot of these people that buy Nintendo games buy a shit ton of them, and so they have a whole library of them, and they can't put all of them on one SD card.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then also about the backwards compatibility, because I just reread, apparently they also gave a warning that not all games are compatible. Well, what the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
How are some, like, I get it if some you can't like get back because of like sometimes it happens with like licensing or something like that. But these are all less than 10-year-old games and most of them are first party. What do you mean you can't get backwards compatibility if you have like the physical game? You should be able to just plug that shit in and good to go.
Do you think they mean just third-party games?
Maybe they didn't specify. They just said we're gonna give, like, we will say that some are not backwards compatible, and they did not specify.
I would speculate some third-party games.
I would assume that would be like the reason, but like I don't know. Like I said, they didn't tell us which one specifically or like what even category they're in. So I'm just sitting here thinking, like, if it's not third party, like, what would be the other reason?
Yep, gotcha. So what's your point of where you would tell yourself, all right, I'm gonna buy the Switch 2? Like we know mines. I want a new Star Fox game, and it has to be good.
Yeah.
I mean,
if I win the lottery, maybe.
For me,
that'll probably do it.
I mean, like, the reason I would buy a Switch, like, the reason I still have my Switch now is because there's games on it that I'm still playing, and there's still games I want to get on it. Like, I still haven't played through Xenoblade. I still haven't played through Unicorn Overlord, which is a fucking Switch exclusive. And there's games like that. So it's my reasoning for getting a system will always be the games. Just like my Final Fantasy VII player behind my monitor, the PS5. That's all I use it for. So the Nintendo Switch 2, I was sitting here like thinking, I was like, well, what game would get me to play it? And I used to think it was Metroid Prime, but like, as much as I love that series, I don't want to spend that much money to play Metroid Prime. And then, so my Nintendo go-to was always Legend of Zelda. But if they're going to continue doing what they did with Tears of the Kingdom, which again, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And obviously they're good games because people like them, but I just hate them. I just don't enjoy them, and I don't like the direction that the Zelda games are going. And so if they continue to do that, I don't even have a reason to play them anymore. Which sucks because it was one of my favorite series, growing up. So like, not even the new Star Fox. I don't care about Mario. I don't care about Kirby. I don't care about Donkey Kong. Smash isn't happening because Sakurai is not invited like in that project anymore. So even if we did get one, I wouldn't want to play the new one. So like my reason to, and then like the last reason would have been Pokemon, right? But Pokemon hasn't been good for the last like 3-4 generations. At least to me, I think they're too easy. Now, granted, I get it.
Mainstay game has not been good. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong,
Arceus was pretty good.
Arceus was good. But again, I'm not gonna buy it to play like Arceus Legend ZA or whatever. But like the main title Pokemon games haven't been good, and I get it. Like, they're kids games, so they can't make them too hard. But there's just been a lot of implementation into those games that I'm just not a big fan of, even as someone that likes playing them pretty casually. So I don't think they're like, I'd be very surprised to see a game come out that makes me like, yeah, I want to get a Nintendo Switch too. As it stands right now, I think I'll just stick to the OLED Switch and then play other shit.
Yeah. Gotcha. I think, like, realistically, for me, the main thing that would push me would be if somehow or another my OLED Switch breaks something, like battery dies or whatever, and it's not worth replacing. That would push me. But as long as I have my OLED, I don't see myself being tempted to get it. Like, even if a new Zelda game comes out and they announce like a special edition for it, even then I'd still be like, I'm okay, because realistically, I don't use my Switch all that much for me to be like, I need to get the new one. I use it sparingly, if that. And so if something terrible happens to my Switch, then that would be my push to be like, all right, then I need to replace it. Might as well replace it with the new one.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely have games on my Switch that I want to finish, like Triangle Strategy.
I still need to play that, but that's on
Traveler.
See, those games were games that I have and I wanted to play, but now they're on Steam, and I own Octopath 1 and 2 on Steam, and I want to get Triangle Strategy on Steam. So those games I'd rather just play at like a higher fidelity and better looking on the PC than the Switch. Yeah, and I can play on like a controller.
I rarely play my Switch or pick it up at all.
Yeah.
So
I have no reason to play too.
Real quick, so we can put this in the tags. Silk Song. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, is it a Switch? Is it a Switch 2 exclusive? No. Then it doesn't. Is it?
It doesn't look. Is it? I thought it was.
I thought it wasn't. If it is, that's insane. Because people have been waiting for news for this game for fucking years now.
Years, literally years.
And I think
it's not an exclusive to Switch.
Then
it's not. Okay, never mind.
So it's just a good game that you can get elsewhere.
It can come out. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because like I remember people have been waiting for this game and no news for the last like 3 years, and I always think it's so funny because every time there's a Nintendo Direct, a Summer Games Fest, the Video Game Awards, when there's any event, Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, at the top of everyone's list, like, this time, guys, they'll definitely talk about Silk Song. And it's like, no.
It's definitely been more than 3 years. I feel like it's been 5 years since people have been waiting for any news on this.
And it's so funny that
it's a sequel to Hollow Knight.
Yeah, it's sequel to Hollow Knight, and I think it's so funny that the news that we got was it's coming out this year, not even an exact date, and it was part of a montage where they didn't even talk about it individually.
Yeah, they just kind of snuck it in.
It's so funny.
Gotcha.
So, according to this article, take it as you will, it's Polygon. Nintendo's compatibility list shows more than 180 Switch games may not play properly on the Switch 2. Why?
Are they does it say if they're like first party or third party?
Nope. It just says the company also says that free updates to improve playability on the Switch 2 system will be released for select Nintendo Switch games, so it could change before launch. And it just said Nintendo accounts will carry over, and they should have access to the original Switch software they currently own. So again, what is that virtual card thing for?
My only thought for the backwards compatibility is my main question is, what's the performance like?
Right.
If the performance isn't good, then it should not be backwards compatible. But if they can get it to a point where it's stable, then yes, it should be.
Right.
But that takes a lot of man hours and power. So
I mean, the cheap way to do it would be to run an emulator on it, and just a Switch emulator, and that's the backwards compatibility. Because they're not going to work on coding every single game, so why not just?
No, they're not going to work on coding every single game. But that's, for me, that would be the safest option.
Yeah.
To like actually look at the code and be like, okay, what can we like fix here? Like what's a performance hit here and there? So,
but that
I'm not against emulation, by the way.
Yeah, no. But that also relies on Nintendo taking like a intimate look at the games that aren't working, right? Like if they actually gave a shit, like, hey, these games aren't working the way they're supposed to. We need to look at them.
I'm also wondering though, like, because don't get me wrong, like I get it, like especially when you're making a new system, running these newer games, obviously it's trying to be stronger, running a better graphics and stuff like that. My question is like, how do you end up creating something that's essentially just an upgrade of your previous console? Like, how does it become so different that like a huge chunk of your library just becomes unplayable on it? Like, again, this is just me asking because I genuinely don't know. I don't have experience doing that kind of stuff, so that's why I'm asking. Because I just from like the way, obviously, like again, it could just be the way that people handle other companies handle their new systems, that they could be like actually working to make those games work, and that's why we get so much backwards compatibility, and Nintendo just didn't focus so hard on it, or it's something that they did inherently that's just like for whatever reason just doesn't like the old games.
I can't pinpoint one good answer for you because there's too many variables in that process.
Yeah, I mean, it could be as simple as just the architecture is different, and in the old games are made to run in a completely different like state, and so when you put them into the new one, it doesn't find the same connections, or the connections are different. It's a million different things that could have been. And I do feel for the people that were like, oh, it's literally just a bigger Switch. Like, dude, did you really think you were going to get anything that much different with how insanely popular the Switch is? There's no way. Because Nintendo may be dumb, but they're not that dumb.
No, they probably focused this entire development time on just making it run better and perform better, and that's like pretty much it. And like realistically, like if we're being real, right, with how much people love the Switch, it was probably the best thing they could have done. Just make the Switch better and run higher like fidelity and better graphic games. That way, like modern games can be put on it to be developed properly. Like they're already successful on that alone. They just decided to overcharge you like crazy.
Yeah, and you're gonna buy it.
Yeah, my pipe dream was that the Switch 2 would be just the little center console thing, so like the screen but not the Joy-Cons, and you could just buy the screen and it would work with the last year's Joy-Cons. That would have been great, but there's no way.
And this is also something that I wanted to bring up because I knew it was going to be a problem. This is also what I told my brother before even the announcement went out. I was like, hey, I'm going to buy a Switch OLED, but unless the Switch 2 is coming out this summer and it has an OLED screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't. As an LCD screen. Like I knew they would, because they're going to release an OLED version later on to charge you $100 more.
Yep.
And it's already too expensive.
Christmas.
Yeah, probably Christmas, or if not March of next
year. Yeah.
Did they say if it's not on the dock, it's 1080p?
It's 1080p if it's not on the dock.
We're in the year of our Lord 2025.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why is it 1080p?
To tell you specifically, it's running a 7-inch. Hold on. Yeah, 7.9-inch screen, LCD screen, which it gets bumped up to 1080p with variable refresh rate at 120 hertz. And then when it's docked, it goes up to 1440p at 120 hertz or 4K 60. Why is it still 1080p on handheld?
In 2025.
And charging me $550.
And
I'm scared.
I don't know if you guys know this, but screens are some of the cheapest things.
Parts of
Yeah. They're so cheap. So I know for a fact they could have gotten better screens. So it is exactly what Alan said. It's going to be an OLED version coming in the future, and then an XL version along with a mini version, just like they did with the Lite.
They couldn't make the screen 2K. Shit, yeah. I would set the 2K.
Right, like it doesn't need to be 4K or anything crazy,
and
but
then when
better.
You put on the dock, and we put on the dock, then it's 4K. I would accept that.
Dude, in 2025, 2K is the minimum.
So yeah,
but as soon as they said 1080p, it's like, wait, this is in 2007? What the hell?
Right.
You mean?
Yeah. So I just looked it up, and another article pointed it out. So the default storage is 256, and it can be expanded up to 1 terabyte. So they do sell them, and like they're going to be compatible. But they do note the micro SD card that you may have used with the original Switch won't be compatible. So you have to use the new ones. I don't know.
Are they doing like a proprietary micro X?
I know they sell their like Nintendo ones, like the red ones with a little toad, and I don't know if those are proprietary or not. So like that'd be the only other reason.
They're just branded.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know why you can't use the micro SD from previously. Like that's what I said. I remember them saying that.
That's so weird.
Yep.
And then you have literally PS5. You can just put any M.2 on there, right? Yeah. Obviously they sell like branded ones and shit, but like you can put any M.2. I'm pretty sure with the Xbox, they have their proprietary one, but they also have a bunch of different companies that make it cheaper too. So I don't get it. If they do that, that'd be so backwards, but right on brand.
It's on brand, unfortunately. And like I said, there's a lot of decisions here that, again, it just screams corporate greed, and I just don't care.
No.
And that's just, unfortunately, as like the last times every time we talk about like new gaming news or things related to that, it always comes down to that, and it's always like very apparent, and it's just kind of sad to witness.
Yeah.
People need to start thinking with their wallets more often.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah. And when GTA 6 comes out, it's going to be even worse. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong.
This is now the excuse for GTA 6 to cost $100 base price.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't get me
needed one.
Right. They definitely didn't need one.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I like the GTA games for the story, and then that's it. I don't play online. I don't do any of that shit. But like GTA 4, GTA San Andreas, GTA Vice City was good. GTA 5 I actually did enjoy. If they cost anything more than $70, I'm not buying it. Like I just can't justify that. Because Lord knows they're gonna have online just like GTA 5, and that's where they're gonna make their real money anyway. So why charge me so much?
Yep.
Because like, don't get me wrong, like I get it, like the game, all this production, whatnot, but that's not where they're gonna make their money back. It's gonna be all those shark cards online. So just give me the normal price game and I'll buy it. But no, that's not how they're gonna see it. They're like, we can charge 100 and people will buy it, so why don't we?
Yeah. It's gonna be insane, dude. I don't know what to say.
I mean, all I can say is that there has to be like a breaking point, where their profits dip enough for them to realize like, hey, this is not working out. And right now it seems like, oh no, it'll never happen. But like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you could have said the same shit about Marvel and like the cinematic universe. It looked like there was nothing they could do to make that fail. And then look at it now, and it's falling apart. Same with like the entire movie industry. They're struggling. I feel like what we're seeing now is the video games version of that, where they're at the peak and they can do anything and they can do no wrong, because no matter what they do, somebody out there will buy it. It will eventually pop. That's just what bubbles do.
Yep.
I wonder. I mean, I'd probably say we'll like 5-10 years might be something will change, but who knows?
Who knows?
Which kind of sucks us, and we're not really gonna get much like big gaming news other than like maybe a random game will come out until like June. And so this was it. This was the big one. We're gonna start getting like all the press release stuff because the Switch is gonna start making its rounds. But it just
I'll say it one more time. I miss E3.
Me too.
That was great. It was great to look forward to it in summer. I understand why it didn't work out, and I get it. But it does suck having all these news sparingly dripped out throughout the year. And sometimes it feels like they do it all at once and then you don't get anything for months.
Yeah. Which unfortunately there's not a whole lot we can do about it. I mean, it's just like we said, it's just easier, cheaper to do the directs, the Sony experience or whatever the PlayStation experience they do, the Xbox showcases, even Summer Games Fest, right? Even the way that that Jeff Keighley does it, it's pretty realistically, it's probably pretty cheap. It's just a studio for him walking around with like a little background, and then everyone else comes in digitally, which is really nice. Don't get me wrong. I still really prefer this over just like everyone doing their individual things, Nintendo and Sony looking at you.
Yeah.
But again, it's not, not E3, which I mean, I still prefer if at least we did all of that in June so we could get it all together. I mean, we could still get an E3 experience without spending all this money, without making these people fly out or anything. I just think Nintendo's never going to do it because they get all this success. They get the most views per direct than anyone else. And Sony's just got their head so far up their own ass they can speak through their body as a second head to fucking do whatever the fuck they want, thinking they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that'll get any better. I think we're just gonna keep getting Xbox trying to keep everything together because they genuinely just are the only ones that are trying to mix the ecosystem. Which it's crazy to say that Xbox is the one trying to do that where they were at 10 years ago. But that's just where we're at. I mean, Ubisoft is only doing it because they're dying. It's like so that if we don't get seen with everyone else, they won't watch it. But it's still nice. I mean, sometimes Ubisoft releases a game and I'm like genuinely excited for it. Like, don't get me wrong. I know this new Assassin's Creed is getting a lot of shit, but like if people would just quit fucking blatantly, if they quit blatantly hating for no reason, they'd see that the game's actually pretty good.
Yeah. That's my biggest complaint, is that all these people that are hating on it, at least 98% of them aren't even hating on the gameplay. They just hate the idea of it, which is insane to me.
Which like it's they hate the idea of it, or like something that they claim is historically inaccurate or whatever, but it's not.
And not even that. Like, dude, when at one point Assassin's Creed did pride itself in like, hey, we're this accurate. We took out this crossbow because it wouldn't be on there, blah, blah, blah. Sure.
but it's not really that anymore.
That's all great and good, but you know what else you had on there? Even though you didn't have that crossbow, you had fucking aliens. Okay, so it's not. It's let's be realistic here. That's not your issue with it. Just say what your actual issue is, and then move on. That's it.
Yeah,
it's so easy, dude. Just say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like a lot of the people are trying to say. I've seen a few complaints. I don't think it's the majority. I've seen a few complaints claiming it's like cultural appropriation or something because it's like in Japan and all this other, which is insane to me. And not to mention, I think this game is doing really well in Japan anyways, and they love it. So like, what's your issue, bro? Why are you offended for someone that loves the game?
People just love being offended by things. That's like their favorite pastime, and I just can't understand how miserable your life must be. That's the highlight of it.
It has to be miserable,
bro. That's not like not to be like those people just being like dicks to those people or an assholes, even if y'all deserve it. I just have to know, dude. I genuinely, psychologically speaking, I don't know where you're at or mentally. Like, why is that what you do? Why spend all that time on Twitter hating, shit talking, sending death threats to like even developers? Like, you don't have something better to do?
You wake up in the morning and you choose violence
for no reason. And like, it's not even like you're not even hating for the game. You're just being a bitch.
Yep.
Yeah, at least be funny if you're hating for the game.
It's miserable existence for sure.
This goes into my Tekken Season 2 talk, but
we'll go
that's a whole different subject I want to talk about another time.
That's another episode. We still we need more experience with that one.
And to be sure. Just, also really quickly, I want to touch back on what I said earlier. I think it also does suck that when we were growing up, if your friends got a console, like I said, like the Xbox or whatever, a big part of that was like, hey, let me play with my friends, right? I would hate to be a kid and have to ask my parents for this Switch.
Bro, fuck that, dude. If you're fucking
big ass.
Hey, all right. If by some chance there's some younger kids watching, if you're thinking of asking for a Nintendo Switch 2 to your parents, just throw that out the window, upgrade, get a PC. You're better off.
The thing is too, like a lot of people will say, oh, like you don't have to get the newest one. And you're right. When you're a grown ass person, you don't have to do anything. Kids don't get that. They won't understand that they don't have to get it. To them, there is no other option.
It may as well be
because their friends got it.
Yeah, it may as well be life or death if they get the Switch 2 or not. Like they don't, obviously, because that's all they got, other stuff going on. They're not worried about shit. Like that's what's going on. That's the point of their day, and I don't blame it. They're kids. We did the same shit.
But I just see it as like companies doing that shit are just shooting themselves in the foot, because eventually there'll come a time where like whatever this generation is, I think it's Alpha at this point. I can't remember.
Z? No, Alpha is after. It's Alpha's after that. I couldn't remember the order. My bad.
But they're just gonna grow up and to a world that's completely saturated with older consoles, and they're not going to see a new console as the goal anymore, because they're just like, well, why would I do that when I can
it's now going to be you get an older system to play like specifically good games, or you're going to be on PC, and it's not going to be a console market anymore, I feel like.
Because let me tell you, I have nieces and nephews, and I know for a fact that when I was their age, I had no idea you could even like do anything crazy with PCs, but they're asking me like every other day, like, hey, I want some advice on a PC that I want to build, and what do you think of this? And I'm just like, dude, you're in elementary school, you're in middle school. That's crazy that PC has gotten to the point where like now even those kids are talking about it.
Yeah, because
I will admit the market is changing. So
yeah, because I was going to say, even when we were in high school, the only people really playing PC are the people that were like hardcore PC gamers. Like even then they were very niche. Like Sean and them, they were playing PC, but it was for League of Legends. So they've been, early adopters of the PC. So it's just like, it's crazy. And like even the people, especially like as the really big community is like, and you hear it, especially because I play Final Fantasy 14. A lot of those guys are old school PC gamers because of MMOs and things of that nature. Yeah. And so that's like really the only time you would see that.
Exactly. Like before we have people like saying like, oh, PC has always been around. Yeah, we understand it's always been around, but it has always been up until a certain point, a niche community. Because I used to have a manager when I worked in IKEA. That dude, he's like in late 50s, and he's been gaming on PC his entire life. So I know for a fact that yes, it was out there, but it was not as mainstream, and it was definitely not talked about the way it's talked about now.
Not to mention, it's more accessible now than ever. Like you can build a pretty good PC if you're not trying to go for max settings and everything pretty cheaply. Like don't get me wrong, it's still more than a console. Don't get me wrong, but you do way more with it than a normal console.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, the way the console cycles are going nowadays, you will have a PC that works with anything that comes out longer than a console will. And then now with like Sony and Microsoft, well, Microsoft has been doing this, but Sony specifically, them porting over their games to PC, it's just more and more enticing because they're just like, okay, well then I'll just wait for a couple years and then I'll end up on PC anyway, and I won't have to buy the new console.
I mean, that's what I did for.
I don't know if it's enticing for me. I'm gonna be real with you. I think whenever they announce their like expectation 6, 7, or whatever, I'm probably gonna buy
it. Oh yeah, but that's because you prefer to play on console.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, like, don't get me wrong, I still like a lot of the stuff PlayStation does. But if they're going to continue to release their games on PC, I will always choose PC. But it's also because of, like, I just prefer the environment of PC and the things that I do. And I already work on PCs, like, for work and stuff. So I just prefer it. So don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong if you prefer to play on a console. I just think it's going to be a harder sell.
I think for me,
go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, what made the switch a lot easier was just the fact that when the pandemic started and movies went to streaming, straight to streaming, dude, that like flipped the switch for me because I realized that all I had to do was just wait a little bit and then I'd be able to watch it at home. And I did the same thing with games. I would just wait a little bit and it would be on PC, and like that's what made the switch a lot easier because I was on console for a lot more. Even when I had my PC back then, I was just be on PS5 at the time, and after that, I was just like, you know what? No, I don't have to do this. I can just wait a little bit and it'll be on PC, and I'll be more comfortable playing it anyway.
At this point in my life, I am most definitely a hybrid gamer.
Yeah, I mean, you play both for sure. You play both pretty regularly, but I do know that if you have the option to play on PlayStation and you're not playing with other people on PC, you will go play on PlayStation. Yeah, which again, that's fine. I think it's definitely a more comfort thing, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just, like I said, I will always prefer to go PC. Like that's the reason I haven't played Stellar Blade yet, because it's a PS5. It's a PS5 exclusive, but we're getting it in. It's coming to PC in June. I'm just going to play it on PC. It's going to look better. I can mod it if I really wanted to. But I'm just going to wait for it because it's going to look better, play better. Wait.
I can mod if I really wanted to. He's going to mod it day one. Come on now.
Oh, not this game. It already looks good enough. I just want to play it.
Yeah.
Afterwards, once I'm done with my first playthrough, then I'll mod it. Have some fun with it. But that's the reason I like PC. I have that option.
Yeah. I think, like, at least for like a closing thoughts on the Switch, it sucks that it comes at this time because it will be affected by a whole bunch of things that have nothing to do with it, but it's kind of caught in the middle of it. And I think if anything, that puts it at a more
the harder sell for sure.
It's exactly. It's just a harder sell in general because it was already a pretty hard sell, and then you add all the extra stuff that at least people here in the U.S. have to think about. It's gonna be tough, man. Not that it's not gonna sell. At least I know there's people out there that make bank, and then this is nothing to them. You know, it's like a day and a half of work or whatever. But for most people, it's gonna be tough.
My closing thoughts: no Star Fox, no buy. Cheetah.
There you go. Listen, man, I want a new Star Fox so bad, so bad.
I mean,
how do you fuck up the franchise? Even Starlink has better flying.
Yeah.
God.
I'm just saying, dude, we can always go back to Star Fox Adventures. I'll buy it for that. Star Fox Adventures. Yeah, I mean, realistically, like I said, the only thing that's gonna really get me back is if Legend of Zelda goes back to at least like Twilight Princess, then I'll give it a good solid think.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no. I'll just spend that money on a PC upgrade because it's like 4 or 5 years old at this point.
Yeah, I think it's great for whoever's gonna get it, and I can't wait for the used market to just explode whenever a new freaking
yeah, I mean, I'll probably just find a cheap OLED here soon in a bit, and then when people start upgrading their Switch too, I'll probably just buy one on the cheap.
Yep.
Just a couple hand smudges on it, I'll clean that off.
Yeah, I'll walk my ass to the pawn shop any day.
Right, bro. I'm fucking. Those things are flooded with these older systems. I'll find one real quick.
Easy pawn.
Yeah, easy pawn for you. I got fucking the one in Carrollton. I forget what it's called. Fuck. It's like a gold and jewelry pawn or something.
Oh,
that's the one That's the one I go to.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's where I got my first guitar, actually. When I was like fucking 8th grader. So we'll go ahead and end it off there. It's been a pretty depressing talk, to be honest. Not a whole lot went on. Yeah. I'm just upset, annoyed.
Yeah.
Like I said, we hope there's still time to make changes. It's not like anything's set in stone realistically. It's up to Nintendo. They can make changes if they wanted to. So
it's that Malcolm in the Middle quote where it's like, I expected nothing and I'm still let down.
Yeah, and I'm still mad.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for tuning in. Next week, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. I'll be real. I'll figure it out. Thanks for listening.
We can talk about Marvel Rivals.
We could. I mean, I guess that's an option.
Season 2 is coming out. Or it's going to be out by then.
When does it come out?
11th.
The 11th?
Yep.
Oh, 5 days. So Friday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. We'll see. If I come up with something, we'll do something.
Yeah, I'm going to be kicking and dragging Alan into comp again.
We'll see. He tried this season, and then I quickly was annoyed by certain features of comp, and then I stopped playing.
Which they're changing. All right,
they are changing. They are addressing some of those changes. I'm gonna go through to see what actually gets changed and what gets implemented, and then we'll see if I go back to comp or not.
Like I just want Kenzo to have an easy job with the thumbnail next week, and I know exactly what he can put.
Big ass thighs, dude.
Dude, they gave her jiggle physics for her thighs.
Dude, I remember watching that trailer. I was like, oh, that's sick. It's Emma Frost. I'm excited. And I heard the leaks that she was going to be a Vanguard, which means it's like a tank I could play.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was shown. And then I was like, God fucking, dude, the bottom half is so much thicker than the top half. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was not ready.
All right. We'll save this for the next episode.
I was not ready.
All right. See ya.
All right, guys. Peace out.
I was not ready.